I'm David. I'm a retired autistic senior. I'm also a former autistic person, a FAP. Dumb name, but funny. Go ahead and call me a FAPper. I dare you. The story of how I quit autism should be enough to piss off the left and the right, and most autistics, their parents, their family, nearly every doctor and psychologist, and anyone who believes that the symptoms of autism are not reversible, and anyone with autism who uses the label for any reason, i.e., my autism forces me, my autism requires me, my autism causes me. And to be fair, it's not just autism. But I'm going to pick an autism. Because to be clear, and in case you have read nothing else on the site, I've been diagnosed with autism. I disagreed. I wrote them a 200-page letter explaining why they were wrong. However, since I was diagnosed, I get to play the autism card. Those are the rules, agreed upon by both sides. If you got it, you can talk about it. I planned on using this free pass on stage to make fun of my former autistic life. However, much of that former life pisses me off, and I'd rather forget anything before 2020, when I was forced to retire due to memory issues. The first joke I planned to tell on stage was, I was forced to retire due to memory issues. But don't worry, it's not the bad kind where you forget your friends and family. It's the good kind where you forget your friends and family. This joke is true to a degree. My midterm memory is the one that fails me. I'll remember nothing of what I write today tomorrow, unless I read back the previous day or two. Not an issue when you're writing to yourself or a dozen Substack readers. But if you're writing thousands and thousands of lines of computer code every day, you need to remember them all every day until the project is completed. I obviously was a computer programmer, and once I was unable to remember, I had no choice but to retire early. So in 2020, I was forced to decide, take the Canada Pension Plan early retirement, or struggle in some menial job at minimum wage, probably for 5 more years. I picked the CPP early, with the plan to pick up my writing career where I left it off 35 years ago. 4 years of writing later, and not a single piece of interest. No comments. I get it. My style is not for everyone. However, I do know my stand-up comedy will be. Maybe. On a different note, I feel guilty for taking a break while writing, because I watch the squirrels in the backyard and they never take a break. I'm David. I'm a retired autistic senior. When I stopped working, my personality changed, and what would be considered autism traits slowly went away. All of them. Now 4 years later, I'm autistic free. Except one trait. I don't lie. I can lie, but I don't. Too much. I can lie, but I don't. Too much to keep track of. I am, however, a creative person. And on occasion may exaggerate my viewpoint. As an example, hi, I'm David. I'm a retired autistic senior. I retired 4 years ago and live in a mansion full of international models. International supermodels. Sounds great, right? I'm a lucky guy. In reality, I live in a large house that was once a mansion, maybe 100 years ago. It is now converted into dormitory-style rooms with shared kitchens and washrooms. I share it with international students, not models, although they could be considered role models. International. To be fair, the girls at the house are all attractive and could be models, but they are not. They are students. The guys, I'm not sure. I ignore them. I suppose if I explain the joke, it's no longer considered a lie or exaggeration. I'm David. I'm a retired autistic senior. Retirement sucks if you're poor. It's boring. However, I realize it's also very freeing. Once you don't have a boss or a job, or are also alone in this world, living with no responsibility to anyone, it's damn near orgasmic, if that's a word. I didn't really give a fuck before retiring. Now I don't give any fucks about anything, except writing comedy, to become famous and marry the woman of my dreams. When I retired, my autism nearly disappeared instantly. I used to feel obligated to make eye contact with a boss or coworker or customer. Now I have none of those to bother with. Now it's great. I see a pretty woman and I make all sorts of eye contact, hoping maybe to seduce her with my beautiful blue eyes. I wish it was that easy. I just realized I'm probably staring at them, not playfully flirting with my eyes. Maybe I still have a little autism, but it's almost gone. Hi, I'm David. I'm a retired autistic senior. I'm retired, but I'm poor. I live off government handouts, Canada pension plan. But I'm lucky. I found a room to rent in a house full of international students. I spend my days and nights listening to trains. I spend my days and nights riding in the backyard or my room and can't help but notice some of the comings and goings of my housemates. The biggest difference is temperature. They like it hot. I'm the only person in the house who turns on the AC. We're lucky to have AC. At the end of the summer, they start to go for the winter jackets. Straight to winter jackets for fall, from shorts to parkas. Especially this year, 30 degrees in September. I'm David. I'm a retired autistic senior. I spend too much time in my backyard. I enjoy it. I like to ride outside, but it's noisy and the animals distract me, especially the squirrels. I have two of them, one black one and one brown. The black lives on the right side of the yard, and the brown lives on the left side of the yard, but they both cross the same fence. I think they're stealing each other's nuts. I'm David. I'm a retired autistic senior. I'm David. I'm a retired autistic senior. Somehow I got lucky and found a room to rent in Vancouver, and I have 3 female international students as roommates. I don't see them that often. I sleep until noon. They go out to school all day. I don't see them that often. I sleep until noon while they're out at school all day. Then I write in coffee shops in the evening. They do whatever. I don't know. I'm not there. Then I come home and write late into the night while they sleep. However, when I do see them, I accidentally scare them because I'm quiet when I walk into a room. Or they are deep into music they're listening to with earbuds. Or maybe they haven't seen me for a week or two and forgotten I lived there. I don't know. I'm tempted to ring a bell or flash the light before entering a room to not scare them. But they don't seem to mind. After the scare, they laugh. Hi, I'm David. I'm a retired autistic senior. Retired from life and retired from autism. I quit. Technically, I never signed up for the autism program. Society enrolled me with my words and actions confused my friends and family. Autism is the only condition that's diagnosed based on the feelings of friends and family, not the patient. My son won't look me in the eyes. It must be autism. Yes, doctor? Or maybe he's tired of you staring at him 24/7? Maybe he's bored? Maybe you're ugly? To even consider eye contact as a symptom or trait for any condition is stupid. There's no perfect amount of eye contact. There's no standard or average amount of eye contact. Eye contact is like a handshake. You're not sure it'll go the first time you meet, but each subsequent meeting, you know what to expect when you reach your hand out, and you adjust accordingly. Same for eye contact. Find a balance, and if they hold it against you, fuck them. They are not good people. In fact, say this if they are uncomfortable with your eye contact skills. I'm sorry I can't maintain eye contact with you and your dead, soulless eyes, bitch. Or maybe don't add the bitch. According to psychology, that's probably a symptom of another condition. Too honest. How does forcing a person or repeatedly reminding them to make eye contact help the individual, especially after a year or two of nagging or a decade? Isn't the constant hounding making it worse? Beating a dead horse? Remove this as a symptom of autism, because alone it doesn't exist. If when the person is alone, it's no longer a symptom, then it never was or never should have been. If when alone, it's no longer a symptom, then it never was or never should have been. Alternatively, if the symptom is worse or only exists when alone, by all means analyze. Do your job. Find out the root of the problem. I guarantee you not every single autistic person acts the way they do uncontrollably. They all have a reason. You're just a lazy psychologist that don't want to find it. Don't label it. Anyone can label a different pattern of eye contact. You don't need a degree. Anyone can diagnose autism because it's all external. Eye contact, emotionless, hyper-focused, etc. It's all outside observation, not internal experience of the individual. The professionals are quick to point out there's no cure or treatment for autism. How convenient. This covers their ass, no liability. I'm not suggesting conspiracy, but the autism label placates the parents that harms the child. When the friend says, "Why doesn't your son Johnny look me in the eyes?" and the parent replies, "Well, he has autism," the friend is forced to say, "Oh, I see, all right, acceptable." Why isn't the same conversation acceptable without the label? "Oh, well, Johnny only looks at people he likes, or trusts, or haven't hurt him in the past. Is that acceptable?" Then leaving the individual to wonder why Johnny won't look at them. Also, as a former autistic person, FAP, which I realize is a bad name, I would never underestimate Johnny or Sally. Once they know they can control your emotions, they might. I can remember many times in my life where I purposely avoided eye contact to piss off the other party. Parents, wives, doctors, anyone. What an easy way to control another's emotions. Autistics are emotionless? No, simply in control of them most parts of their lives. Like anyone else, they have limits. That's normal. That's not a symptom. However, if you don't like my eye contact levels, how is that my problem, my issue? Are you so insecure you can only talk with eye contact? What about eye contact and Catholics in the confessional? No eye contact there. Nobody wants to confess to fucking their neighbor while their priest looks them in the eye. Anyone who questions eye contact is a controlling, arrogant asshole who has too much free time in their lives. End of story. I hope anyone who reads this, autistic or otherwise, understands the power they hold to control emotions of others. If the child uses his eye contact ability to piss off their parents, who has the issue? The child or the parent? Who is in control of the emotions and who isn't? As a parent, I'd be embarrassed to admit my child can control my emotions by any of their actions, especially eye contact. Look wherever you want, Johnny. I know you can hear me, you little shit. Well, again, stop before the last sentence where you take it too far and Child Protective Services come in. Why didn't the professionals just say to the parents, what difference does it make if he makes eye contact, especially if they are communicating without it? Who cares as long as the message is delivered? They didn't, I get it. Get the parent out of the office and on to the next patient. Autism, nothing you can do about it, live with it. And that ends the conversation for the doctor, while the parent goes home and searches the internet for a solution, unsuccessfully. A solution for what? A series of personality traits? If you don't like the personality of your child, too bad. Assuming they're not a psychotic and harming animals or others or themselves, who gives a fuck if their actions or interests embarrass you? Too bad. Or if you believe in nurture over nature, blame yourself. Didn't you nurture them into their current personality? Or is it nature? Either way, what can you do? Blame yourself or nature? Maybe do the opposite if you're the one to blame. And if that doesn't work, assume it's nature. Now let me be clear, I'm not suggesting the parents change their behavior to accommodate the individual. I'm suggesting they find a common ground they both accept. Isn't that the basis of all relationships? Sure, it may be harder to communicate with an autistic, but maybe you'll get something out of the conversation that you wouldn't have from others, a different point of view. Autism is a spectrum according to doctors, but what it is a dumping ground for conditions that doctors are ill-equipped to understand or treat. In other words, they're too fucking lazy to figure out the problem. The only thing not a symptom of autism, but the one thing everyone uses as an instant diagnosis is, he looks autistic. Now back in the retard days, when people were not afraid of the term mentally retarded, it was obvious there was something wrong, either at the chromosome level or something, a look. Today, 3/4 of that snap diagnosis is based on clothing, not physical properties, but poor or / boring grooming habits / choices. Nothing to do with chromosomes. Clothing choices are not a sign, symptom of anything to do with autism. You're not an autism detector. No such thing as autism DAR. Shitty name, I know.